Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nick, your host of On the Scene with Martini. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you are the scene.
Before we get started, I want to give a thank you to our sponsor, A Day in a Life Records, run by Dan. Dan has a rich, deep history in the music scene and owns a gorgeous record store located in downtown Lancaster. Dan specializes in all things alternative, hardcore, punk, and so much more. Make sure to check him out, buy a record, and enjoy some fresh tunes.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick, On the Scene with Martini. Today I got Bert and Tom from Split Chain. How you guys doing
Yo,
today?
what's up?
Chilling,
Yeah,
bro.
good,
It's
thank you.
cold, but I'm good.
A little over the pond action. I appreciate you guys coming on a ton.
That's all right. No
I,
stress.
I did confirm you guys are my first European band to come on, so
Oh,
I do
sick.
appreciate it. Not over
Big
the
up, big
not
up.
over the pond, but I did interview Whispers from Thailand. So they
Oh,
beat you for
nice.
that, but in terms of European, you guys took that crown.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I'll take that.
You guys have obviously you guys have like a lot of stuff going on. You guys have like a tour coming up. You guys just dropped a new single, but like just from like kind of like the start, like how you guys both got into music individually. If you guys just wouldn't mind sharing your story, and then we'll kind of jump into Split Chain and then catch everyone up to current day.
You
Wow.
crack on, Tom. Go
Wow.
first.
I mean, I all I really remember about getting into music was I was never really a huge when I was like a kid, so like maybe up to like 10 years old, I didn't really care about music that much. Well, there's some cool like music videos and stuff on TV, but I never really I was like, oh my God, blown away. And then I remember the first time I'm never gonna forget this. So we did this thing in school where it was like you have to bring in a song uh that you would take with you to a desert island, like one song, and you take it to a desert island, and you're gonna listen to it forever. And some kid in my class brought in "Tears Don't Fall" by Bullet for My Valentine, and the teacher played it out loud for everyone, and it blew my fucking mind. I was like, "What is this? Like, this is insane." And that's when I kind of started realizing that I like, alternative music in general. And then as I started to get older, went to secondary school, met some new people and stuff. I started to there was a bit of a local like scene developing, I guess, in where I'm from, a small town called Chippenham. And it was to do with all like the MySpace, deathcore, metal kind of stuff. I was always too scared to get involved with it properly. So I just let my friends get on with it. But they used to hold like little crappy little deathcore gigs at a town hall. And Jake, the guitarist of Split Chain, one of the guitarists of Split Chain, used to play in a couple of those bands, and my good friend Lee, used to play in those bands, and I was just fucking blown away by it. And off the back of that, they started their own band, like deathcore band called Roads to Nowhere. So I got involved with those guys, just doing merch and slinging all of that for those guys. And then yeah, I'd never even played in a band before Split Chain. So,
Oh really?
but yeah,
That's
I
wild.
guess yeah, it's fucked up, dude. Like I could play a little bit of guitar, but not very well. And then yeah, it got to writing Split Chain stuff. And then that was Bert was like, right, you have to choose an instrument. What you're gonna fucking play? And I was like, well, I don't know, dude. I can't play anything else. Like I'm shit at guitar, so I guess I'll just fucking play bass. So yeah, but I mean, like, I guess like alternative music and all that stuff is something I've always been super into, and I've just been too afraid to do it. But I was like too focused on partying and getting drunk and stuff like that. That was more like what I was into, and I would just use the like gigs with Rose to Nowhere to just drink their rider and get pissed up. um, and then yeah, it was like COVID obviously hit. Me and Bert were living together at the time, and we were just messing around, nothing too serious, just writing a few tunes. And then after COVID, I basically decided to get sober. And as part of getting sober, Bert would come over and just like hang out with me because I had nothing to do. And then yeah, we started writing randomly one day. We said to ourselves we wanted to write like a Soup Heaven song. We were just super bored, so we were like, fuck it, let's try and write a Soup Heaven song. Ended up writing a couple like demos off the back of that for Split Chain, and then yeah, fucking it kind of just turned into something super unexpected off of the back of it. Got two demos done. I think it was Get Inside and Future. For the was it Get
It was
Inside? Oh,
get inside and chalk,
that's it.
and then we did future, and then we picked get inside and future to take to the studio.
Yeah. And then basically we realized we had those two songs and we're like, fuck, we want to go to the studio, but it's just us two currently in the band. So yeah, we basically recruited Jake, the other guitarist, Aaron, who was originally just going to session for us on the drums, and then Ollie, the other guitar player. And that's kind of how it formed. We got the demos back and it was like, fuck, dude. No, these are
Mm.
really fucking good. Maybe we should really do something with these. So that's me. I don't know. That was long,
Um,
man. My voice hurts.
I mean, similar thing. It's back in like how old would I've been? I mean, I've always been into music in general, like even just pop music when you're like 4 or 5 years old. And then there was a there was a UK band called Busted. Do you remember Busted?
Yeah, I
Still
remember
going.
Buster.
Busted and McFly, and that was kind of like the turning point for it. Was like a kids rock band. Um, got into that, and then from that, kind of more guitar and music came in, and then friends at the time in school. Um, our friend Adam, he loved Blink 182 because of his older brother. So he brought on a Blink 182 CD. We had a computer at the time, and I was able to like rip CDs and do copies and that. So I started copying all of the CDs. So I had the Blink 182. I can't remember what album it was. I think it was the self-titled, the white with the pink and blue on it. And then from that, I kind of just fell into love with alternative music, and then went from Blink to Good Charlotte to kind of that emo-y kind of scene, and then kind of from my neighbor teaching me how to skate, I got into more of the heavy stuff. So it was like the Slipknot, all that kind of business. Um, and then so that would have been when I was like between like 10 and 12, I guess. And then after that, being into secondary school, and like group of friends obviously got bigger. We was all very much within like the scene kid um, kind of group. And it kind of just evolved from there. And then just, yeah, essentially from that, then I started being in bands when I was about 18, 19, properly. We had like school bands that we did when we were in school. But yeah, first proper band was like 18, 19, which we were trying to be like a title fight ripoff. That never worked out. And yeah, then kind of just put it to bed for a bit, and then came back now with Tom doing this. So yeah, it's kind of been like very musically kind of at a point in my life, and then it kind of died down a bit, and then yeah, COVID happened, then everything just came back up.
For Bert, when you obviously you do vocals for Split Chain, in like
Hmm.
your past bands, have you always done vocals or was that new for you?
Yeah, but well,
A different type of
my
vocals maybe?
my no, my first proper band was me on vocals purely because my friend who wanted to do vocals, I said, "Oh, why don't you do bass as well, so you can do bass and sing like Title Fight?" And he never played bass before, so I was like trying to teach him how to play bass at the same time. And then he couldn't end up doing it both at the same time, so it was like, "Oh no, we need a singer." I was like, "I can't sing, but I'll give it a go. You know, it's shouting, whatever, it's fine." So I kind of accidentally fell into vocals doing that one, and then kind of the same thing happened with this. It was like we had a couple demos and no vocals or anything like that. And I was like, oh, we need a vocalist if we're going to go to the studio. So then I ended up just tracking something, and then from that kind of became the vocalist of Split Chain.
Your first like your first stuff that you guys put out, you guys it was kind of just like you two or you guys had like other people obviously in Split Chain, but did you guys go to like a proper studio or was it just like a you guys were just doing it for fun to seeing where it kind of went?
So we kind of demoed at home, had a couple songs, and then from those demos we were like, oh, okay, let's go to a proper studio. do 2 tracks, and then if we get the masters back and we really like them, then we'll try and start a band, I guess. So we went down to the ranch in Southampton, which is where like who's recorded there? Like Boston Manor recorded there.
Oversized
Uh,
recorded there, I think,
Overs
right?
yeah, Oversized
Yeah.
recorded there, which is why we kind of went over there. I was like, oh, they're kind of in the similar realm that we want to do.
Hmm.
So we hit up Kurt, who was their producer at the time, and kind of just went there and did the 2 songs.
When you guys, one thing that I found interesting, and I just want to preface, correct me if I'm wrong with anything that I say, but when I was looking on Apple Music, you guys put out like different, you guys put out a lot of singles, but it didn't look like there was like a true EP that you guys put out. At least like that's how it looked
Yeah,
like in Apple Music's format. Was there any reason that you guys just kept putting out like singles like that? Was it just to see where like what kind of worked, what didn't, or was it just a pure like aesthetic thing or
I think it was. It's kind of even less than that. It was just we had the money to make 2 singles, so it was like, oh, we'll put those out separately,
Mhm.
and then it just gave us time to be able to like put out songs, recoup some costs, go back to the studio, and then kind of just keep doing that. So it's, but obviously, as well as that, it's for us, it felt good that we could release stuff and be consistent. So like it was like I think once every 6 to 8 weeks we were dropping a new song for like pretty much a year,
Mhm.
which is really cool. And it felt like we can just stay consistent, stay on like people's minds. Yeah, I think the EP we did end up putting it on like all the singles together on a vinyl um with Other People Records, and I think that was something that we didn't expect to do, or we were working towards. But I think it's nice just to have it all together as kind of like an EP, like a compilation. But yeah, it wasn't really anything more than just it was just easier for us to kind of work on singles.
Fair enough. For Tom, when you first started like writing, this was obviously your first band, which is pretty crazy, and I can't imagine that a lot of people can say that they've had a first band that has as much success as you guys have had so far,
Yeah.
and in such a short amount of time as well. Did you find it like when you were first like writing like your bass lines and stuff, did you have like a clue going into it, like transitioning from guitar to bass, or was it just like a learning curve for you too?
Dude, I'm gonna be real. It was full on chucked in the fucking deep end, figure it out. Like, it was basically just these days. It's a little bit more like I have oh, I should hope that I have a bit more of an idea of what I'm doing and what I can sort of play with. But especially in the early split chain stuff, it was just follow the root note. It was just follow
Gotcha.
the root note and go for it, dude. Like, which to be fair, I think kind of works anyway. Like looking back at it now, it's like the job is to be the glue, for the most part. Like, can fuck around and play around and get all fancy with it, but ultimately, I'm there for one thing, which is to bring it all together. So, I think, yeah, I mean, it was all chucked in at the deep end, dude. I didn't really start playing guitar seriously until I went to uni, and I was late doing that. I think it was like 2021. So by the time Split Chain had started, I'd only really been messing around with guitar for like 4 or 5 years or something, and I was really only doing it so I could learn black metal songs. So like going into this, it was like I don't really know what's going on, but fuck it, I'll figure it out as I go along. And I feel like it's kind of how we define Split Chain as a whole, is we're just kind of really figuring shit out as we go along, and
Yeah,
and but it seems to be working, so I'm not going to question it too much.
yeah.
Was there a song that like you like in like your earlier days that you put out like working with Bert and stuff that you were like, okay, wait, I actually have a grasp of what we're doing a little better here, or like a
I
like a wow moment for you in that regards?
I want to say that might be off the top of my head. I want to say Extract, primarily because the main riff for that one was something I was just messing around with on guitar. I think we were all like writing, or we would just come to the end of a writing session, and I
Yeah,
was just fiddling
we were sat
around.
in the flat. We were sat in the flat. I remember you were just noodling on a guitar and you did the da na 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 na. I was like, stop. I was like, do that again.
Let me
Crack Logic out.
record.
I was like, quickly record that in,
Yeah,
and then Yeah, that was a good moment. I like that.
Yeah, and I think from there I was kind of like, okay, I have an idea of what I'm starting to do now, and then from there I just felt more confident, just generally, if it's guitar or bass or whatever, contributing my own ideas a bit more succinctly to the band, if you know what I mean. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys have like a ton of different music backgrounds so far, just in terms of like what you guys have liked. Obviously, like we mentioned, like Blink 182, Good Charlotte, but then like we have a black metal fan at the bottom here.
Yeah.
So what were some bands, obviously MBV, like being like such a huge like shoegazy band.
Yeah.
What other bands would you say kind of influence your sound? Because even though every band says that they don't want to have an influence, like they're their own, but there's always some roots to a degree.
Oh, dude, that's yeah. We're always really open about that because like it's quite evident that the overcast in influence you can hear is we all love Deftones. So
Hmm.
like we're not gonna kind of shy away from that.
Yeah.
There's a reason, they're like one of the best bands in the world, and we all love them. So obviously that's gonna come through. Um, I mean, yeah, Tom, like the influence from Tom definitely comes over. I feel that's a different point. So he can go on about that bit.
No, I mean just like generally, I think what we've done really well as a band is we've got like a a collective of people with really different interests in alternative music. So it's like Bert, for example, like we all have universal interests, don't get me wrong. You
Yeah.
know, we've got like the Soup Heavens, the title fight, the grungy kind of vibe, the Deftones, which is the huge umbrella. But then, yeah, like me, I really like the post punk, dark wave, black metal, but then also really like dance music and stuff like that. And then, you know, Bert's more emo, grunge, sort of more into that. And then Jake loves new metal. Aaron loves new metal, wrestle metal, just about any fucking metal, to be fair with
Wrestle
Aaron.
metal. I
Yeah.
never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah, like all that stuff. And then Ollie's super into like post hardcore. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him go a day without wearing a Thrice t shirt or hoodie
Yeah.
or some shit like that. So,
Good. We like that.
yeah, dude. So, there's loads of like overarching influences, and I think they all come through in a really positive way, which is what I think has kind of helped us stand out from what I would argue now is a pretty oversaturated uh, genre right now. So yeah, I think, and we all write as well, which I think is the important thing. We all contribute in some way or another. So I think it helps those influences come across. Like "Who Am I" on the album has got that post punky like electronic drum, even down to the guitar lead.
Mm.
Then you've got like the grungier stuff like Headway and stuff like that. So yeah,
I don't disagree. Like when you say like the genre is like oversaturated to a degree in terms of like there's a lot of bands coming out kind of doing that kind of music, right?
yeah,
Obviously, like for the state side, when I think of like the shoegaze kind of alternative grungy sound, I instantly go to like New England, which is like, Fleshwater and like Dream Fatigue.
yeah,
And then like you got Soul Blind in New York. Why do you like, is there, I'm trying to think of the best way to ask this. From like the 80s to 90s, right? You have a pretty good shoegazy scene. From like the early 2000s, though, it kind of died out. And then like
yeah.
in recent, it kind of came back. Is there anything that
Mm.
you got, or any reason why you guys think it came back, like the resurgence of shoegaze?
I think it's just people discovering it in new ways, to be honest, and just clicking
Yeah.
with it. Like I think
As
the
w- I was gonna
no,
say,
you,
as like as cliche as it is, it's the same way that we've talked about this before, Tom. It's like how we discovered music back in the day was like MySpace. Now the young kids are using like Instagram Reels and TikToks and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's a weird way because these like songs or whatever can be like really old songs can just be reused for something stupid or like a viral moment. But then that hits, and if like the young population like it, then it's just snowball effect, and then all these bands are kind of coming out. So, oh yeah, I think it's just another way of people. Yeah, like Tom said, we're just finding out about these bands for a second time, and I think it's really cool.
I'm not like super familiar with the UK scene. but is there like a pretty good love? Like obviously, like in America, there's a reason why you guys are coming over here for a few months because there is that
Yeah.
desire for that kind of genre. Is that pretty um replicated as well over in the UK area and Europe?
Oh, Europe, I'm not entirely sure of right now, just because from my personal experience, I don't know too much about European scenes. Um, but like in the UK, you've definitely got a few. Like we already named oversize and things like that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think like when we started, I think it was very so because we're all very, I don't know what the word is, but like we as a band, we all loved like Narrowhead, Soulblind, Bleed, Fleshwater, all that kind of. So we loved that scene, which is why we kind of started to replicate it and be, one of the bands in the UK doing it. And I feel like at that point there wasn't very many bands at all, like especially ones that were kind of either being active or playing shows. It was like there was Oversize, Mercury, and that's literally the only two bands I could actually have thought of within that scene. So I think like when we came up as well, that was like the three of us, and then even like we did a weekender together. So it was like, and then suddenly for some reason we started popping off a little bit, and then same thing happened with Oversize and Mercury, and I think just from that it did start to grow. But yeah, apart from those other two bands who were doing it before us, it wasn't that big of a scene. I don't think it was more like the standard hardcore scene or like the indie or more kind of vibe. But yeah, I don't know if that's just me not knowing, but that's what I could think of.
When you guys are playing in like obviously you guys have an upcoming tour with Soulblind, Dream Fatigue, and Downward in April. That's a very heavy shoegazy
Yeah.
alternative scene. When you guys are playing in the UK, do you guys find yourselves more on like hardcore bills or just like more eclectic bills, if you will?
definitely more eclectic. I think
Mm,
if you just look at if you were to look at what we toured last year in the UK, Europe, we ended the year with Landmarks and Pain of Truth and
Fair
Under
enough.
Oath.
Yeah.
But in that we did A Day to Remember shows. We did fuck. What else did we do?
Boston Manor, Trophy
Boston
Eyes.
Manor Trophy. Yeah, so over here it's definitely more eclectic, but then we've done Outbreak and stuff like that as well here in the UK. But then we've done Download Festival and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and we did
um,
gel in UK Europe as well.
yeah, I
So
think that
it's
was our
like
first tour. Yeah,
we kind of get lumped on these tours, which are like we're just kind of in the scene. So
Mhm.
gel's very punk hardcore. Boston Manor is like they've got the pop punk kind of backstory, and then more of like the radio rock kind of vibe now. Um, we're kind of like one foot in on each of these kind of bands and how they sound. So there's not really like a big band like us who we could support, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Absolutely. Do you guys find it like being newer in your area in terms of like being in like the shoegazy scene, do you guys find it easier to get onto bills, or do you guys feel like it has helped you stand out to get on those kind of? I mean, like Outbreak and Download, like obviously those are huge things and huge milestones for a lot of bands, and you guys have only technically been putting out music for like a few years now, right?
Hmm.
So do you feel like that's kind of helped you get onto those kind of bills, the
I,
yeah, I
standing
I
out a
think
little
so.
bit?
I reckon so.
Yeah, I mean, it helps to. I think it just helps being slightly different. Like, I don't know. It's hard because I like playing bills that don't like mixed bills and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't
Mm,
think there's a problem. Like it might be harder in some instances, but I think it's just a good way to differentiate. I don't know. Like for me personally, like metalcore and stuff like that, especially towards the last sort of I don't know 5 or so years, I was getting really fed up with the way everything was everything sounded and produced, and the way the songs are written, like it all just became very samey. And it made going to gigs for me a bit of a ball ache because I was like, this is just boring now, you know. I don't know. I think it has helped us that we fit so many different
Yeah.
uh
I mean,
yeah.
there's bands that we've toured with, and they're like, they don't want to tour with bands who sound like them, you know?
Mm,
So it's
yeah.
like, oh, who could we get who's kind of in it, kind of not? And it's like, oh, well, if we're in that, if we make that fit, then, you know, we'll 100% tour it. So we just want to kind of play every bill possible, because if we can put our sound, our scene in front of thousands more people that would never see it, you know, that's sick. So
Yeah.
anything to kind of put this sound and scene on the next step.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think a great example of being able to fit into multiple different genres and bills is that upcoming tour you guys have with The Devil Wears Prada and 4 Years Strong, I Promise the World. I mean, those are four very distinctly sound bands. However,
Hmm.
I mean, like I Promise the World is very up and coming in our scene, in stateside.
Yeah.
4 Year Strong and Devils Wear Prada obviously have like that longevity of just putting out good music that everyone appreciates. So I definitely could see you guys playing those shows and still getting the appreciation and love that you might get in like a small room that's just for, you know, the the alternative folks, if you will.
Yeah.
You
I
guys,
think it's cool as fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was just gonna say, like, I just think it's really cool that mixed bills are so like such a thing now. It seems
Hmm.
just that everyone's just super. It doesn't matter, you know, fucking if you're tuned down to drop G or whatever, or you're tuned down to drop C. Come on the show. I just think it's sick. It's just a really cool way of getting alternative music, no matter where it comes from in the spectrum of it, to people. I just think it's sick. But yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're on the topic of mixed bills too, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. And
Oh no.
this, you guys could each, you guys, it was just a three-band bill, split chain, obviously. You guys can even pick if you guys are headlining or not. But two other bands that they don't have to be active or whatever, just two bands in general that like kind of fits the eclectiveness, but you think that would absolutely kill in shows.
Oh my
Fuck.
God.
Like you could even go black metal, you could do whatever you want. I'm just curious to hear you guys.
Dude, I would love to play a show with Peel and Flesh. I think
Okay.
I think that would be fucking fun, dude. I think that'd be sick. Peel and
Oh
Flesh
my
for me.
God.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I have no idea. Like, do you go new school and find like a sick new band, or like do an old legacy band that you love? Oh my God.
Like I know for me, if I had to pick a band for like me, like if I was, I was in a band, right? Like I would have to pick like Fugazi or someone like that, like
Yeah.
the iconicness, and you don't
Oh,
have to worry about headlining
to be fair,
because
for going like that, kind of, it's not dead or alive, but let's do title fight just so we can see him.
right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm sure poor Ned, and I made a rule when I interviewed him that I would not ask anything about resurgence of Title Fight because I'm sure the
Yeah.
poor guy is so tired of talking about it.
Yeah. No, I bet.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that you guys, I do like that about you guys. That's one of the reasons why I want to reach out to you guys is the collectiveness that you guys both put it on your own albums and then like the bills that you guys do play. When you guys first came over to the States for like your first proper US tour, was that your first time in America at all, or have you guys been there prior?
I think I went there when I was little once for a week to just do like Disneyland in Orlando, but like
Okay.
so that doesn't really count. So this was like the first proper time going to America, I'd say. Yeah.
Did you guys find it like a kind of a culture shock to coming
Yeah.
over?
Dude, the
At,
size of the fucking roads, man, and the cars. Like, what the
oh, that's.
fuck?
I was gonna ask like, what was one thing that really shocked you guys, and then what was one food that you guys tried here that you either really liked or really disliked?
Oh, I got one for both actually.
That's
Yeah,
fine too.
Um, Whataburger is the
yeah,
best thing.
that's what I was gonna say,
The
dude.
patty melt from Whataburger is the best thing, and the worst is it grits?
Oh, you
Oh
don't
my
like
god,
grits?
dude, it's disgusting. It's
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
southern
no,
that's a southern treat, if you will. They've been having that
great.
down
Yeah,
there for a while.
that was disgusting.
Dude, what
But
is
yeah,
it?
those.
What's the fast food place that fucking everyone likes? Wendy's. Oh, fuck Wendy's,
Oh yeah,
man.
no, Wendy's is gross as well.
Oh, that is vile, man.
I hate Wendy's.
It is fucking horrible shit, dude. I
We
don't
had the
know.
Baconator, and it was absolutely disgusting.
No, it's nothing bacon about that either. It's
Oh,
just
dude, it's just mayo slab. Oh, I hate
hmm
mayo as well. Just to see it slapped on some fucking grim, man.
Tom, what was one that you really liked? Was it Whataburger as well?
Dude, I'm Whataburger, but I'm also really pro In-N-Out. I think
Yeah,
In-N-Out's
same.
fucking
I've never
amazing.
had In-N-Out.
Oh,
It's because
dude.
I'm an East Coast boy, so like they're not over here at all.
Dude, if you ever get to the West Coast, like honestly, please let us know how it is because
I will.
I fucking love it.
It's so good. The double animal style,
Yeah,
unreal.
yeah. And the animal fries. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
When
good
you
price as
guys,
well. Really good price.
yeah, I
yeah,
will say that I respect that too. And they're in like very affluent areas too over
Yeah.
in the West, so it's cool to see that they actually keep their pricing not
yeah.
absolute foul. Like I don't know if you guys have do you guys have Five Guys over in you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
crazy.
Five Guys. The pricing's outrageous, but it's
Yeah,
delicious though.
It's fucked up. Yeah, it's like 30 quid for like two burgers and fucking
it's
fries. It's
crazy.
Yeah,
fucked, man.
absolutely. Oh, when you guys come to when you guys come to Philly, if I'm available, I should be. When you guys play with Soul Blind, you guys are playing at the Yuki Club. It's a really cool little venue that like honestly has been popping off the past like year or two.
Oh,
Wh-
that one, yeah. Because I called my friend Mars, who's in Noddenoff, who lives in New Jersey. He said about that Suki Lounge thing, and he was like, the venue's sick, and it's
Yeah, it's
so I'm
fire.
excited for that one.
But we'll have to get you guys a cheesesteak from Angelo's. That's
Oh,
like an absolute like delicacy. And like anyone from the Philadelphia, like people travel all over from the United States when they do like their cheesesteak tours to come to
No
Philly
way.
to go to Angelo's. It's that good.
that sounds
So
fucking insane.
we'll have to hook you guys up. It's absolutely
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm fucking right on. I'm down.
Well, fast forward, you guys put out a new song a few days ago, March 3rd, Sylvia, and then I Won't Belong to You.
hmm
Um,
hmm
was there any reason to drop a single now, or was it just like a you guys are gonna go on tour, let's test it out kind of deal?
Yeah, pretty much. I think album dropped last year.
Right. Yeah.
We've been kind of toying with ideas on like stuff we can do post album. Um, and then the label were like, do you want to do like a couple songs or something? We were like, yeah, let's do a couple songs and like go back and either like look at the stuff that kind of didn't make the album or rework on stuff. Um, and yeah, it's kind of like just that in between point. I don't know if I'm allowed to kind of say anything else at the moment, but we've
I
I
will
don't know if
say
you can
this
like
doesn't come out until like early April, if that helps you at all with timelines.
okay, I might just have to say it and then just get told off later on. But we've it's we because we had an idea of like we want to kind of get a bunch of like features on songs for the album when we like originally were doing it,
Hmm.
and we were just so stretched for time in the studio that we couldn't, and like having to have studio then mix straight away then like there was no point or like any point we could kind of look at getting people on features. So we did have a idea of why don't we do like a deluxe version of the album, put a couple new songs on it, get a bunch of friends to like do features on it, kind of reach out to all the bands within our scene and be like, yo, do you want to kind of jump on, do a verse, do a whatever. So that is kind of the way that we're going. So we've reached out to a bunch of friends to see if they'd be down to do some guest vocals. And then I think that'll be the deluxe will come out later this year at some point.
No, that'd be awesome. And I think
Yeah.
it's
So
cool
it's kind
too,
of
like
tying in the new songs almost like we were never really finished with the first album, tying the new songs, tying everything else, and then kind of do really, really kind of stop the cycle at this year on the album.
Yeah, I think it's really cool when bands in our scene do it like features like that because collaboration is like one of the biggest things, right? And
Yeah,
especially in like our smaller alternative scene, that
yeah, 100%.
it's awesome to see. Like even if there's like two features on an album, but it's still like a different approach for maybe how they usually do their vocals or something. I always think it's
Yeah,
fun. I really do think that the people, like I consider myself like, like in the scene in terms of media, right? But like at the end of the day, I'm a fan of these bands. That's why I reach out, right? So I think it's
yeah,
cool to see like for example, I know like Koyo is coming out with a record and Sammy from Drain and Marissa from Fleshwater are singing on it. So it's just
that's
cool to see
sick.
like that collaboration
Yeah,
too. With
yeah.
Sylvia, I Won't Belong to You. Was there someone in the band that Sylvia hurt, or was that just an album or a song title?
Nah, it's just a song title. We kind of it's the name taken from the character from the Truman Show.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's kind of the song's kind of just about like we come back from tour and just seeing how like the world isn't very nice anymore. Nothing's really going very well. So it's just that real Truman Show kind of vibe, and then just pick the name from the character.
Do you guys find like shows or maybe not even real life experiences being how you guys might use that to write it all, or is that just kind of like a one off that you guys just had that this kind of worked?
Um, I feel like songwriting wise, it's always just been like a used as a way just to kind of get everything out. So like whether it's like personal or whatever's going on. Because I kind of said this in interviews before. It's like as a songwriter, I always look at myself as like the guitars and drum, like that kind of songwriter first. Lyrics and vocals are always um not my kind of, I don't know, just I don't ever think that I'm good enough or like good at them. So it's kind of always my second point that I go to. So yeah, I've always just used it as a point just to be like, what's going on, what needs to get out, and that's pretty much it.
You guys, it obviously seems like you guys have a pretty good bond, and it's cool too that you guys were like friends before really starting the band. Like you guys haven't like pulled people from multiple different bands to like form
Mm.
something and then just get thrown onto a label and pushed out to the wind. Like, are you guys very collaborative in terms of when you guys are writing, or do you guys kind of just focus on Tom, you're on bass, Ollie, you do your thing? Like,
Nah,
No, it's
I
very,
would
it's
say
very
it's
much.
yeah.
Sorry, carry on. Yeah,
No,
go
no,
go
no,
for
no.
it.
You're just gonna say what I
No, go on.
like. It is just collaboration, man. And it's like even to the point where if a friend of ours has an idea and we like the idea enough, it's like, well, yeah, all right, fuck yeah, we'll take that. Why not? It's just like there's no point gatekeeping it to like, oh, but you can do the vocals
mhm.
or
Yeah,
Jake only you can do the guitar. Like it just doesn't make any sense to us to do it that way. It came from a super collaborative place to begin with, and I think it's the best thing to do is to just be open to ideas. I think you're only
yeah.
gonna
Once
you're
once
only
you get rid of that, it's kind of done. Then
yeah.
oh, if one person does everything, or oh, you know, you only do this, you only do that. You've lost it. It's gone.
Yeah, you're only going to shoot yourselves in the foot if you do it that way. I think like you're creative. Like, how can you expect? I've never understood bands where like one person like has to control everything and write everything and do it. That I never really got that because what's the point in being in a band then? Just fucking put it
Mm,
out and be a bedroom artist. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, we always try to be as collaborative as possible, basically.
yeah,
You guys toured last year in the States a good bit, but one that like more recently you guys were with Counterparts for a good bit. Was there I thought it was cool too because they played a lot of places. Like I remember you guys were at Archer Music Hall in Allentown, I'm pretty sure. And like that's like an
yeah,
up and coming venue as well in terms it's a Live Nation venue, but up and coming. But you guys were kind of playing like those I don't want to say smaller, but your middle not you guys were playing like the trying to think of the way to say it. You guys were playing not your LA every single night. Like you guys were playing like the kind of
Yeah,
the smaller towns here and there. Was there
yeah,
a show or a place that like really shocked you guys with like the turnout and or like the love that Split Chain received?
dude. All of like the Western Canada,
Hmm.
crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, like
Like
Vancouver. Was it?
Vancouver, Edmonton. I can't remember the other names, but there was like 3 or 4 in a row or something, and it was just mental. I was like, we had no idea that people in Canada knew of us. We played Toronto once, which was cool. But obviously Toronto is so close to like the Midwest and that kind of area. But then like Western Canada had no idea, and those shows popped off as well.
Was there is there a place that you guys want to play? Like it can even just be like a weird like you could pick like Peru or like some like weird country. Is there somewhere you guys would love to play?
Oh, it's so
Japan.
yeah, it's so
Oh,
cliche,
okay.
but Japan, dude.
You guys haven't played
It,
Japan yet.
no,
Not yet.
Is that a goal then, I would say, for
yeah.
2026?
That yeah, that
Well,
is that's
maybe. I mean, it's a goal for this year, probably not, but hopefully next year, maybe.
Japan's an awesome. I want to go so bad, but in terms of music, like every single show that my boys go out to play there, every single show sells out. Like everything
Yeah,
pops off. The scene there is so rich. Like
dude.
it's just
Every band that
awesome.
we've kind of asked about it, they always say it's the best place to tour. It's the best place in the world. Like, there's that not one bad thing is gets ever said about it. So that's like the one place.
That's a completely fair answer.
Yeah,
I should have stated no Japan, but I'll give you
yeah.
I'll allow it because
dude.
I
I don't
mean,
usually try to ask like what are your favorite questions because I don't know they kind of get too repetitive, but I should have said no Japan. I'll have to note that for the future.
Dude, no,
if if not Japan, Alaska.
Okay, that's
I'd love to go to
fire.
Alaska.
That's
I was
fire.
gonna say the Philippines. We
That's
get a
cool
lot of
too.
requests to go to the
Oh yeah,
Philippines, and
Really?
I'd like to kind of know what it's all about because from what I've seen, especially like well, just online, but from what I've seen is they really like our style of music.
yeah.
So I reckon a show there would be fucking incredible.
Just like anywhere Southeast Asia would be sick.
Yeah,
Totally. You guys too, you guys were talking about earlier how you put out like vinyl and stuff. Especially this is geared for both of you guys, but what's it like, especially for Tom, like being in your first band, what's it like selling out a press or like having different pressings of records and like getting like the reception that people are buying your media?
dude. Oh, it just makes the imposter syndrome worse. Worse. I think like already like I'm already like oh I'm out of my depth like I shouldn't be doing this. There are people with way more experience who know way more than I do that deserve this. And then yeah, the people buying anything related to us. If it's a song digitally, if it's a t-shirt, if it's vinyl, it's fucking weird, man.
It
Like,
is crazy.
it is
It's
crazy. Like
crazy.
you're buying something that we produce. Like we don't see it from their point of view. I guess we just see ourselves as five fucking losers or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't know, dude.
It
It's
is
definitely like
crazy.
any expectation I had when we started this band has just been fucking surpassed immediately. It's absolutely unreal.
Have you guys ever went to a show that like was Split Chain wasn't playing or like walking around and like you saw a Split Chain shirt yet or
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
was it the frontman for Newfound Glory
Dude,
wearing
yeah.
our shirt?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know
Look
where he
like
even got that from because he either must have
yeah.
bought it online or like got one
You're
at a show. And I'm
you're
like,
checking every
which one?
order now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I remember seeing that and being like, what the why? Like
That's
that's
so
mad.
awesome.
Yeah. What other what you gonna say one as well, but
No, I was just say like even like for some reason recently I've gone to loads of gigs in Bristol. Um, like Counterparts came through the other day. Big Ass Truck came through the other day. Um, but yeah, just been to like quite a few gigs recently, and then we go in, and then like there's like 1 or 2 people that will be wearing a Split Chain shirt, or they'll come and say hello, which is cool. And that's just that always doesn't creep me out. It's just odd because I'm like, going to a gig as as anyone else or whatever, but then seeing something like, oh no, we're part of the scene, like people like us and whatever else is just crazy. It's mental.
On top of, and I'll leave you guys with this, on top of you guys having these two announced tours in March and April, what is a what is something that you guys would like Split Chain or see Split Chain do? Even if it's just like playing a hometown show or something as simple as that. Was there anything that really popped to mind in 2026?
I mean, the one we've been wanting to do for a while is a headline in the UK for the album. Again, probably shouldn't say it, but it is happening. So like we are booking it, we're looking at supports and getting all that sorted. So that's one thing that I'm really excited for. And one thing that I would love to do, it probably won't happen, but like a house show or like a really, really, really tiny show, something like that would be really cool.
I'm gonna go the opposite end of the spectrum and say I just want to play with Deftones, and then once that's done, I'm chilling. I don't need. I've
You're
completed it.
like
I've
life goal
ticked everything off.
complete.
Yeah, I'm done, dude. Fuck
Now
it.
it's gonna happen in the future. Because Fleshwater, I don't know, like when they had like 20, 30,000 followers before they went on tour with Deftones, and they finished with like 140,000 or something crazy. Like
Jesus
Crazy.
fucking
the
Christ.
reception that that scene is getting, and just to throw back to like the TikTok and stuff, even Deftones itself, like they were still selling out shows, but they weren't selling out stadiums. Now they're
Yeah,
back to selling out stadiums. Like it's absolutely like mental what
it's
they're doing now.
insane.
I think say what you want about TikTok, but I think it's done fucking wonders for
Hmm.
for our scene in particular. I think it's
Mm,
great, dude.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for both coming on. I really
thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much, dude.
Thank you, man.
Guys,
Appreciate it.
there will be some links down below, like always. In March, they will be on tour with Devils Wear Prada, 4 Years Strong, I Promise the World. That is a like US tour. They're doing like a lot of like West Coast South stuff. And then in April, they'll be with Soulblind, Dream Fatigue, and Downward. That's kind of geared towards like the East Coast, but also random as well. Kind of gigs here and there. By the time this comes out, you'll hit the tail end of the first tour, but you still have a ton of the second tour to check out. Split Chain, say hello, buy some merch, and yeah, until next
Oh
time.
yeah.
Peace, guys.
Thank you so much.
Peace, man.
Thanks,
Thank you.
man. Bye.